Got some notes.
Got some notes.
Got some notes.
Sports Wrap, George Ringer. Welcome to March.
Hey, sports is about to start anew.
The
March Madness is coming around the corner.
The madness is officially here. We've got March underway. It is in like a lamb. Weather-wise,
I don't know about that. Did you see how many of the top teams got beat last weekend?
Yeah, but that was in February.
Yeah, that was in February, right? Well, we're setting the stage for whatever. And then the other night, I watched this very fine team from Memphis, and I didn't know that these guys could play buckets, but they're not bad.
Okay.
And so, before they start picking the teams, you want to have some kind of idea what you're going to put down in the charts. And so, you get a chance to see some of these teams you don't ordinarily see.
I'd like to have an idea of what I was going to put on my chart, but I have no idea. This might be the least prepared I've been to fill out a bracket in years.
Well,
and that might not be so bad.
Well, no, and it's pretty good. I just sit around and I try to say, where is the upsets? Because people kind of, if I can pick 3 or 4 upsets, then I'm going to be well on my way to, and so you kind of always have that, 5-7 team gathering, and these teams are very, very close. That's kind of what makes the tournament worthwhile.
Yeah, obviously the bracket busters are fun, but if you're losing money on those bracket busters, it's no fun. But if you pick them, it's common in Tim Ringhofer bracket picking that you pick at least 2 12s, maybe 3 12s.
Maybe 3 12s. And they're there. Look at UCLA last year.
You got to pick a 13.
They wound up beating Gonzaga, the number 2 seed. number 1 seed in that bracket. Anything can kind of happen, and that's why they play the game. And the Big Ten tournament is going to be extraordinary. I thought the Gophers went out with style, and it was like, I start taking a look at the basketball team. They lost 8 seniors off that team. This isn't like this was a remake team. They had a lot of seniors that they got to replace. They got some good people coming in, but this year was okay. Get your feet wet for Ben Johnson. Next year is how many games can you win and how many of those seats can you fill? And it's like my good friend Rusi was saying the other day, the Gopher faithful, the aged Gopher faithful, aren't coming to the gym, and they haven't for the last couple of years. They not only have to get them there, they have to keep them there, and it's.
Well, look at Gopher hockey.
Gopher hockey's incredible.
Yeah, but they were dead. The first few series of the year, they were getting like 1,500.
And we talked about LaFontaine taking off and getting this fat hockey contract. Oh my Lord. What's going to happen? Well, somebody stepped up, and he's the hottest goalie in the Big Ten right now, and I don't know how that happens.
I found it interesting that Garrett Raboin said he is the story of college hockey, and I did one of these when I listened to it. I was like, is that really true? Because I'm not saying I'm following college hockey, but geez, isn't Michigan still the story? I mean, yeah, they lost, but they got 7. Michigan's still the story. Mankato's the story. Maybe in Gopher world, maybe Justin Close is the story.
Well, no, but I'm going to tell you, it's like one of the things the Gophers face it. They've been down the last almost a decade, and they've been scrambling, and all these other teams have been building up their programs, and it's like somebody said, they haven't had a full house since they quit playing North Dakota. And so I hate to think that that's part of it, but it's part of it.
It's part of it. Oh, absolutely. So, but you look at Gopher football. They had trouble filling the seats till they started winning on a consistent basis. Gopher basketball's been subpar. Gopher hockey's been subpar. So, yeah.
Well, they got one of the best. Ben Myers is right now one of the best hockey players in the league. They've won 8 straight, and they say, "Geez, can they keep this? Can they keep this streak going?"
And a naysayer like myself would say, "But there's nobody in the Big Ten for them to play, so they should have won 8 straight."
Hey, that was a pretty mediocre team before good old LaFontaine took off to make money, and he was not having a particularly good season. And what did they? They've been 11-3. A couple of shutouts. So they're working. We're pretty good, and the goalie's at the top of his game right now. I'm glad he's enjoying it.
I'm just going to echo it again. It was Wisconsin. Yeah, he got 2 shutouts. It's not easy to do, but it was Wisconsin. Wisconsin's horrible. But anyway, I applaud the Gophers. Congratulations, Gophers, on your Big Ten title. Enjoy it.
To a Bulldog fan, a Gopher's a rodent. I understand this. And so, but I have to say to my good friend Stevie Ross, hey, I hope you're digging it, because this is actually a pretty good Gopher team. I watched it play a couple of games, and for the lack of anything else to do, no, they've got a good-looking team, and they skate hard and they work hard. They pull themselves back up. And when you got competition from 4 major universities around you, where before they had no competition at all. Those days are all gone.
I was very disappointed in the pairwise this week. I was very disappointed in the poll. The Bulldogs go to Miami. They win one and they get shut out, and the other one they drop 3 spots. That's pretty tough to see. I'm not saying UMD is in danger, but UMD is in danger, folks. 11, maybe 12 you might can drop to make that top 16, and then you are flirting with disaster. Of course, we can go back to a couple years ago when they made it in by .0001. I say 3-0-0-0-0-1. And won the national championship.
And
so
all
you got to do is get yourself in the door. But this UMD hockey team is goal challenged. They get St. Cloud State this weekend. Basically, whoever wins the series plays the same team the next week, only on their home ice. So the UMD's 2 ahead right now, so we'll see what happens.
Well, and it also come up sometimes, especially in the professional hockey thing. Geez, that season's really long. College a little bit less so, but these kids have been skating and playing hockey since October. Right in the heart of football season, for crying out loud. I would like to see that kind of stretched over a little bit, and now they're going to take some time off and prepare for their playoff gig, hey, college hockey is still the place to go. They keep the penalty down, they skate to beat man, and they work real hard. I like college hockey on Saturday night in my house.
I'm all for it, absolutely. So Mankato, Michigan still sitting at the top. Western Michigan, Denver, North Dakota is hot again.
I also heard just through the grapevine that there was a top prospect that was heading for Notre Dame that changed his mind, and he's heading for the Gophers. And so, this kind of happens.
Bob Motzko's a pretty good coach.
Well, he is.
In case anybody didn't know.
And Benny's still working for him too, I'm sure, isn't he?
Benny and Garrett Raboin's still working for him.
And Garrett's working there too?
Yeah.
Geez, no false attachments there.
No false attachment with the University of Minnesota right now, that's for sure. Yeah, it's a little bit scary. So.
Well, those both coaches.
So as long as we started with, we're in the college hockey mode. Do you want to? We kind of started college basketball. We got to college hockey.
Yes.
Do you want to talk about your Wild?
I'll tell you what. I watched them play the other day. They scored a goal, and then this hockey team with these great big red jerseys on came beat the heck out of them, and I mean beat them up. And it's just like they controlled both ends of the rink, and it was kind of like the Wild. They look small compared to these big orange red creatures, but they get another shot at them. But Calgary is really a fine hockey team, and they beat them up thoroughly. They've lost. How many games have they lost now? 3?
3 in a row. 5 of the last 6 for the Wild.
Yeah.
What I don't understand is this. Okay, I go to work every day, right? I have good days and bad days. Everybody does. Okay. How does a hockey team go to work, play a game, and yes, I understand they started in Edmonton, went to Ottawa, went to Toronto, back to Calgary. Makes no sense to me, but it's the way that it is. How do you get off the plane from Toronto to Calgary 2 days later and you lay an egg like that? How does a team not understand that? Look, you're getting your butts whipped physically, and you don't somebody doesn't flip the switch and get things going. And even Everson said, well, that doesn't mean you got to fight. You just need to finish checks and start doing the things.
But it really did look to me like men against boys. They were bigger, faster, stronger, and I'm not sure that it was the optics of the thing, but they were skating really hard and scoring goals right and left, and it's.
Well, your boss and my boss says that the Wild better change something or they're done. Well, they are done, he said, because they can't change anything. It's over. I'm like, whoa, that's throwing the baby out with the bathwater.
Well, it is, and Talbert's been out, and he's now back in the situation, and so he's has to get back to where he was at the beginning of the season, and the key is in the nets anyway. You better have an outstanding goaltender, or you're just not going to make it.
I can buy that. You got to have a good goaltender
and good defense as well.
Well, and I think here's yes, I understand the Wild got beat up the other night. A lot of people look at the score and say 7-3. They got blown out. Well, that's again with the Dean Evison 2 empty netters. They're down.
No, it was a 5-3 game, but Calgary did physically take it to them and kind of just overwhelmed them. And the Wild they skate well.
What did Winnipeg do to the Wild the 2 times they beat them?
Yeah,
they beat them physically,
and there's no reason for that to be, because the Jets aren't that good a hockey team.
But apparently the Wild don't like playing against physicality. And
apparently.
So something's got to change.
Yeah.
They've got 3 days to fix it. We'll find out tonight as we record this on Tuesday whether the Wild can pull it together. Everybody's worried about Talbot and Kakinen, whether they are the problem or is it the defense? Where's the issue? And of course, Mike Bolstad, I think, would say it best. We don't have big, strong, heavy defensemen, and right now that could be starting to rear its ugly head a little bit, and so something's got to change.
When you pull in your defenseman tight and pull in your wings and your center tight, it's hard to even see the net, not only to mention to get a shot at, and they pull them in that tight sometimes. In college you see it quite a bit, in the pros not so much so, because everybody can skate, and so it's I don't know, Tim. I have watched more hockey in the last 2 years than I ever thought I would do again, but there are a lot of nuances to each and every one of those teams that the Wild plays.
I just don't want to start. I don't want everybody to start panicking about the Wild.
Oh no!
I'm the quote unquote the eternal optimist when it comes to this, but
no, there's no panic there.
I think that, like I said, I'd say to Mike Bolstad he's panicking because he wants to blow it up again, and I'm like, whoa, we just put it together.
No.
Let's get our pieces together.
There's some very, very good talent on that team, and what dump Bodie and Creel and Fiola, and just get rid of those guys.
Well, he'd be big on getting rid of that. Hartman isn't a first line center, and he's probably not.
When he gets going,
when that he was playing out of his mind, he can't keep that up. It's very possible. So anyway, can we keep bouncing around?
Sure. Let's go.
How about your UMD Bulldog basketball teams?
Well,
do you realize that both of them, one of them right now, I believe, just getting started for the NSIC championship. They're both playing today.
And the championship games? No, I was not aware of that.
Yeah.
I knew that they both had pretty good teams, but
the men, have been ranked in the top 20 or so of the nation all year. Their best player got hurt last night, a kind of a freaky knee injury. Whether how bad he's hurt is another story. He was cheering the women on who hung on last night and won by 3 points, but both the men and the women are playing for the championship tonight. If you had Midco, you'd be watching them on Channel 33. I watched some of the women's game last night. They got a nice player. They're going to lose to St. Cloud State tonight. That's my prediction. St. Cloud State's got a really nice team for women, and we'll see what the men can do without their best player. If he's not there, they're into the national tournament, but both of them are into the national tournament. But what's going to happen tonight, who knows? But it ought to be 2 good games.
Well, see, if we're talking about women's basketball, somebody brought up the fact that Iowa and UConn could possibly be in the same bracket. And did we not have a Caitlin Page game last year?
I believe that to be the case. You're right about
and Iowa won that game?
That's possible. I can't say I remember for sure.
When I saw it there. On the other hand, I've seen Iowa play, and Caitlin is really an incredible basketball player. And Paige is, of course, coming off her injury, but she's back in full gear, and UConn seems to have full throttle up. And
just got to get ready for the tournament,
just
right?
got to get ready for the tournament.
Doesn't matter what seeds you get, just get into the tournament.
Just get in the tournament, yeah.
Which is a foregone conclusion. Yeah, the Big Ten women's basketball tournament starts tomorrow, Wednesday, and the Gophers are the number 10 seed. They play number 7 Northwestern. Should be a very competitive game. Wish I could say I was going to watch it, but I'll be watching another basketball game at that time. So we'll talk about playoff basketball for high school.
And of course the women's program did come up in my travels this week, and they're and people are, as soon as you're not into the top 4 or 5, then they'll start saying the magic words, coaches change, and they says no, Lindsay Whalen she's got credentials, she's got gravitas for her job and the Gophers, and she's got a very fine class coming in next year.
Yeah, she's got a good class. I would be shocked.
I would too.
I would be shocked if the University of Minnesota cut her loose before she had a chance to bring these kids in, these girls that
I agree.
Top 10 class that she's got coming in, and give her at least 2 years.
I'm a Lindsay Whalen fan all the way through.
To take care of things. So I would say she's going to stick around. I wouldn't see a basketball change for a while. I don't think you'll see a hockey change for a while. Probably the first coaching change that you say major sport would probably be football, because Fleck will probably be offered about $52 jillion to go someplace else, and
$52 jillion. That would be a lot.
That would be a lot.
Yeah. No, maybe let's see what this is an important year for PJ Fleck too. He's got to come back, and he's got this quarterback that's been around forever, and the only thing he needs is some truly outstanding world-class receivers. And
that helps the quarterback, doesn't it?
It does. It does. Then he's back in business, but we'll see what happens. He'll always go down as a remarkable coach, if nothing else, for his branding than anything else.
Well, so the NFL Combine, as long as we're talking football, the NFL Combine is underway in Indianapolis. Do you care?
No, not really. No.
That's about how I feel about it as well. Let them go do their grading and whatever else. And I know the NFL draft's only like 2 months away, and I should be getting jacked for it, but I'm not.
No, I think organized sports is kind of taken in a poke in the eye, both baseball and football, and they're starting to see some of these things. I noticed that the All-Pro guard from the Miami Dolphins retired this week at 28 years old. And so the kids are coming up.
Tampa Bay or Miami? Was it Tampa Bay?
It might have been Tampa Bay.
I think it was Tampa Bay.
And very, very young, and has a few bucks tucked away. Probably has some masters in business administration. I mean, some of these kids, they're pretty bright, and they're well educated, and they know that if they scramble their brain too much, it's no good. So
very possible.
Things are changing in terms of, I saw a sign in the paper, and it might have been in the New York Times. This young girl was carrying a big sign for where they were doing the major league negotiations, and the sign says, "No ball, no fans, no money," and it's
very true.
It's very true.
Will there be another backlash, and how long will it take for baseball? Anyway, it is up on my phone. Commissioner Rob Manfred has announced that some of the 2022 regular season games have been canceled.
Oh boy!
It's official. They have canceled some of the games, so that's underway. I also got this on my phone just while I was waiting for you to show up. Packers leave Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams off announcement of international game in London. So are they saying that Aaron Rodgers is bye-bye? Is that what they're saying? Are the Packers going to blow it up? I don't know. It's one of those news feeds that stirs the pot a little bit. So anyway, having said that, the whole Aaron Rodgers thing, we can. There's
so many young talented quarterbacks coming off. I mean, Aaron Rodgers had a great career. There's no doubt about it. He is he's a target shooter. He's the best. Except that the younger ones, they're very capable people, and Patrick Mahomes's, and there are several, they're going to take his place. I mean, before that, Bart Starr and Francis Tarkenton and all the rest of them.
That's going back a ways.
Well, it is. But in Green Bay, they all remember those names, and so he's just come in and kind of filled that role. Lynn Dickey. Well, I do remember Lynn Dickey too. Yes.
That's the first Packer quarterback I remember.
Yeah, Lynn Dickey.
That's how young I am, everybody.
I'm afraid that I knew about Paul Hornung when he was starting quarterback. And that would have been 1956 or 57. We knew about him because he went to Notre Dame with Bronco.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So, well, let's, shall we circle back around to basketball one more time
Sure.
and talk about the Timberwolves?
We can talk about Timberwolves. And I got to tell you, last night, I'm watching the game, and I watched the first half, and I go away, and I dwindle down. I come back with 3 minutes left in the game. And there it is, Cleveland knocking on the door. And you know that if the Wolves can fall apart anywhere, it's defensively, but they did not. And then your buddy Mr. Towns came down there and it was I didn't know this till later. It was his only three of the game.
Okay.
But hey, it was one of those threes that was boom, three, and it was really a beautiful shot. If nothing else, the fans are getting a hell of a show from these guys. They really play well right to the end, and I think Finch has a lot to do with that.
Yeah, Finch said, the boys didn't panic last night. They stuck together. They hung in there, even though the score was dwindling. The scary part was I turned it on early in the game, and the Wolves were down.
They were down, yeah.
And then I found out that they were up by 23 in the third quarter, and then they got tied anyway. You just never know. Tonight they get Golden State at home.
Well, this is a big game. Except they beat them last time they played.
Yeah, the thing is, we're playing on back-to-back nights, and
Stephen Curry gets to play this time.
I'm not too hopeful tonight, but it would be nice to come out and play well at home, and because obviously playing back-to-backs is part of the NBA, is part of the schedule, so you're going to have to do it. Not have excuses. So,
after when you watch these guys play, and they play so hard, game in and game out, I don't care what sport it is, it really does define what a athletic professional is, and this is much more than a full-time job. It's a lifetime dedication. On top of that, it's an 80-hour work week when you're doing it, and you ain't going home neither. Get on the bus. So I have to tip my hat to these guys, and you wonder why they give it up so early. Well, that's part of the reason too. So it's tough gig.
They didn't look so good against Philly last week.
No, they didn't look so good against Philly, and I don't. When I was a kid, we were in high school. We went down to Minneapolis on Sunday night. We went to a concert Sunday afternoon. Sunday night at the Minneapolis Auditorium, the Los Angeles Lakers. This would have been 1964, 65. We're playing the Philadelphia 76ers, and that was the first professional basketball game I had ever seen. And I'm walking out as some of the players were still coming off the court. I had never seen a tall human being before. And 6'9", 6'10", which is nothing now. You're looking straight up at him. I was amazed, and as I was walking on, I got to be within 2 times an arm's distance from some of the Los Angeles greats, and you just sit down there and watch that, and I thought, these guys are really something, and it's they really were.
First NBA game I went to, the Milwaukee Bucks playing the Atlanta Hawks in an exhibition game at the Duluth Auditorium.
I was there.
And I got to be about this far away from Dominic Wilkins, who was not playing in the game. And that was, to see Neek up that close, that was
And Oscar Robinson was the point guard of that Bucks team. I never saw. That's the only time I've got a chance to see him play too. But it's an honor to watch those guys. It really is.
Anyway, so there's our trip down
memory lane.
NBA. Hey, did you see any of the Marant highlights from last night?
No.
So Marant a couple nights ago set the Memphis Grizzlies scoring record at 46 points in a game. Last night he went for 52. He had a dunk over 7 foot. Whoever is, I can't say his name right, so I'm not even going to try. I won't even embarrass myself. Anyway, he had a posterized dunk, and then the play of them. He said, I don't think I could duplicate this. 0.4 seconds on the clock before half. A teammate chucks it to him full court. Touchdown pass. He catches it while he's fading away, going across the baseline, doesn't come down, catches it midair, throws it up from about 18 feet, and drains it for 2 points. He says, I don't think I can replicate that shot. It's kind of a one in a lifetime, kind of a Hop Arbor type thing on your seat to catch. You should go online and you should look it up. Morant. From
he is the one man I know that could put a quick seal on the Timberwolves at any one time should they reach him in the playoffs, and the
really, scary part was they shut him down the last time they played him. He only shot like 5 for 17. He ended up with like 20 points. So what I'm saying is the Wolves must have done a pretty good job on him because obviously he's very good. But
there's some good basketball players out there, Tim.
And the Lakers are floundering. Did anybody hear about the Lakers not doing very well? I'm elated. I can't wait to say their scores on in the morning when they lose. It makes my whole morning.
Well, they've had their time, and it's time to rebuild. And I don't know what LeBron can or cannot do. He's been pretty successful in anything he's tried, but somewhere along the line, and this come as a surprise to him, he's got to hang up his sneakers.
Ooh.
And
you hear it from George right there. LeBron James is done. Put a fork in him. It's over.
Well, it's like, where do you take it from there? I mean, Magic and Kareem and Chamberlain and.
So let it be written. So let it be done. That's what I say.
Yeah, and turn him into a vice president in charge of player personnel. And
speaking of that, what's Derek Jeter doing?
I have no idea.
Apparently, him and the owner don't agree.
That didn't work out.
That's an interesting. I haven't read up on it enough, but it just kind of like I didn't. Yeah.
I was really kind of stunned because Derek Jeter, he's the All-American boy. And it's just like, who?
Maybe being the CEO of a Major League Baseball team isn't all it's cracked up to be, George.
Oh, I've really never had that kind of ambition.
I mean, to me, that fantasy owners, football, whatever, they're trying to live that through playing fantasy. I don't know. I just don't want to be in control of a team like that way because I like coaching. Don't get me wrong, but I don't. That whole money thing and it takes the fun out of it.
Let's go back and just talk a little baseball here.
He wants to talk baseball. All right.
I mean, the major problem here seems to be salaries. The players don't think that they're getting as much as they were a year or so ago, which is quite possible. And so there's some situations here, and we brought this up before, like the techniques of the game, the shifting rules, and I mean, is there any reason to have 15 pitchers in a baseball game? And keep your starters in there for a solid 4.5, no matter how well he's doing, and then throw about 5 or 6 guys or 7 guys after that. Every one of those guys, they're going to want to check on Friday. And so I'm wondering if this type of strategy, well, somebody says it's affecting the game a lot.
I agree. But everybody comes along with a new way of doing things, right? I mean, that's just. How about running backs? Jim Brown would be appalled that he'd have been taken out of the game, right? running backs get to play 2, 3, 4 downs. Now they get taken out of the game. So because it's a situation, third down back, here's your first down back. Blah, blah.
If Jimmy Brown was playing for me, I'd keep him in all 4 downs.
It's a good idea.
Yeah, I would do that. Yeah.
I'm going to take the owner's side for a minute.
Good.
Okay?
I think you should.
You've got to recall that 2 years ago, when they only played, 60 games to end the season with COVID and everything else, that they did it with no fans in the stands.
Exactly.
There was no beer sold, no brats, no hot dogs, no whatever. Well, when you think about what the owners make on ticket sales and beer and brats and all that other stuff, that's a big chunk of money. Yes, TV is a bigger chunk of money. Don't get me wrong, but the owners they took it in the pocket in 2020.
Oh, yeah, 2020 and half the year before too. So it's.
So what I'm trying to say is, when the players want more, I can understand the owners saying, look, we took it pretty hard. We'd like to get a little bit of our money back. Now the problem with that is, of course, that contract's over the next so many every years,
exactly.
And the owners are going to make their mony back.
Yeah.
So I also understand the player side of it, saying we want our share.
Well, I mean, the thing of it is that theoretically, if you're all dividing up a pie, if you got a smaller pie, you got a smaller share. And that's kind of the way I look at it. And I tell you, I'm not a one to stand up for baseball owners. On the other hand, I do see their point. This is still a business. They still have to make money. And in fact, it affects you and I because as taxpayers, we've bankrolled most of these stadiums. And so this every time that they sell a brat, that's part of our repayment for that.
But why don't they just give the players what they want and then just pass it on and say, well, I'm going to put ticket prices up another $5 per seat, and I'm going to put another $1 on the brats? Why not just do that?
Well, I don't know. I mean, it's so ridiculous. Like somebody was saying, complaining about, not complaining, describing the halftime show of the Super Bowl, and I says, when you're charging $1,500, $2,000, people don't want a halftime show. They want an extravaganza, and they got one. And it's the more you pay, the more you expect. And I just assumed that they ran the marching band on the field and ran them off and get the ball game going. Yeah, but
Can you hear the people yelling at me? But what about the Joe Q fan that doesn't have $150 to pay per person to go to the game?
Yeah.
I hear you.
I hear him too.
I hear you. But that's the way the world works. They put on taxes or inflation. They just pass it on to the consumer, right? So.
Well, they do, and if you say, well, I don't go to the ball games. No, but you pay for your cable ticket. You pay for your television. You pay, and you pay for your newspaper. In order to keep track of what's going on, you have to make an investment in all kinds of different products. And
I was informed that my internet bill went up $7 at the start of this month.
For what?
Because it went up.
Oh,
Because I'm sure Midco needed more money, right?
They do.
They don't have enough of it. They need more.
I saw them out in the street with a bucket last week. They're
okay. We got to get to the brass tacks of the show.
We do have to get to the brass tacks of the show.
We got to talk the W word for a while, folks.
We do. Oh, just a second here. As I reach into my pocket, I got a magic paper in here.
He's got magic paper in the pocket today.
Yeah.
I can't imagine what that means, but because we got to talk wrestling, because not only is it Big Ten championship weekend, but it's also high school state tournament weekend.
Thursday at 9 o'clock in the morning, the team tournament takes off, and then the individuals is on Friday and Saturday. But I'm not quite sure where I got it last year, but maybe it was on Care 11 or something. But my old friend Jerry Cleveland was doing the play-by and calling all the matches, or at least one session of the matches. And
PrepSpotlight.tv. That's the place you want to go.
Okay.
PrepSpotlight.tv. That is your place to go.
But there's going to be some fantastic wrestling on Thursday morning. Starting at 9 o'clock, these kids are going to go at it. Anoka's at Hastings, Apple Valley's at St. Michael Albertville. Now, they were the ones that beat an undefeated Bemidji team. What's amazing about this 3A, you take a look at these teams, they all have 4 or 5 kids that are going to wrestle Division I. They all have 3 or 4 or 5 state champions. These guys, these wrestlers are very, very good. So
St. Michael and Apple Valley, huh?
St. Michael, and then Northfield and Shakopee, and Stillwater versus Wilmer, which will also be real good. And then on 2A,
that's 3A, yeah.
yeah, and 3A and is Becker at Thief River, and that's it's probably as close as we're going to get around here. And Fairmont now has about 4 schools. I would have been writing all day against Watertown Mayor. And Casey Mantonville is wrestling Mora. That would
Comets.
be from Pardon?
Comets, Cass and Mantonville.
The Comets.
They're the team to beat, I'm sure, right?
And then Simley and Tortino Grace. Simley and Tortino Grace. That's going to be a dandy.
Simley and Cass and Mantonville are on the same side of the bracket.
Yes, they are. Yeah, yes, they are.
That could be a great semi.
And the single A, and I still would have been writing all the names down, and I didn't know where they were anyway. But they go at 9 o'clock, and then they wrestle at 9. They take a little break. They start wrestling again at 11. The team championship is pretty interesting. There's only the corner of the gym is ordinarily filled with the faithful of each team, and they scream and shout and go absolutely bananas. It's as much fun as the individuals.
So Friday, when I'm down at the state swimming and diving meet for the Bronco boys, you're telling me I should take a trip over and take a detour?
Yeah,
I've never been to the state wrestling meet. It would be fun, but if the weather, seriously now, folks, if the weather was not going to be so poor on Friday night in the Twin Cities area, that's where I would be. I got to do a little hockey game Saturday. I don't know if you've heard about this.
What's hockey?
But the Pee Wee A's are playing in the region tournament. We're doing the game on the radio. Man.
Well, there you go, right there.
That's alcohol.
This is Fat Tuesday, folks. They are rowdy.
A little drop of a glass over there, I think. So that we got. So that's the high school wrestling.
The high school wrestling. Now, Big Ten wrestling. And I don't know if people are hiding all their information, but they start at 10 o'clock on Saturday, and that's the quarterfinals, and they go on Saturday they'll do semis, and then Sunday will be the finals. And so Saturday they'll start at 10, and it'll go pretty much all day long. It's just incredible wrestling. It's
that's on the Big Ten Network.
That's on the Big Ten Network. Yeah, that's what I'll be doing on Saturday, and it's the thing is that I won't be able to watch Buck Rodgers, the serial. That's on Friday. That's on Saturday mornings. The Buck Rodgers series only takes a half hour, and you don't find anything more cheesy than Buck Rodgers. So it's Batman's pretty cheesy too. Yeah. So I watch those shows. So we'll see what happens, and we'll go right into Big Ten wrestling. But I love the Big Ten wrestling tournament. I've been to them a couple of times, and it really is a lip ripper.
So who wins the Big Ten championship team-wise, Penn State or Iowa?
I think right now I have to favor Penn State.
Okay. Does the Gophers team, besides Gable Stevenson, does anybody else make it to the finals?
Brayton Lee was their best chance at 157 pounds, and he's out. That being said, there's always a surprise.
Yeah.
And ordinarily those surprises have been coming from Michigan and Northwestern. There's some stud just all of a sudden pops up for this. But there's some good kids in this wrestlers. There's some excellent kids in this wrestling. There's nobody that's going to touch Stevenson. That's just not going to happen.
It's just not going to happen.
No,
I agree.
No,
I agree.
So, but I will be watching it. Just I like to keep track of Brandon Nagam's. Really, I've been watching him since he was a freshman in college. I think he's a real fine coach, and that just goes to show you how tough Big Ten wrestling is. It was never like that before. Iowa, Minnesota, Purdue, and then they go somewhere else. Boy, not anymore. They're all want their piece of your head.
Not anymore, that's for sure.
Yeah. But I just want to make comment about the girls' hockey tournament.
Okay. You should.
Warroad had 1 goal scored against it during that tournament. I'm not sure that, I don't know that I've ever seen a team go with complete zeros all the way through, but only allowing 1 goal.
Not too shabby.
That's not too shabby, and they scored a whole bunch of other ones, 6 and 7s and all the rest of that.
They did.
But I think Warroad might have been the class team in the whole tournament, and I'm.
So you're bucking for A versus AA champion on Sunday?
You know, I'll tell you, Warroad wouldn't mind, and you know, and if you
And Andover would have everything to lose.
yeah, and Andover would have everything to do, and it's like one of those things. That's why Roseau never went. You know.
Yeah, there's the girls. I didn't get to watch as much of it as I would have liked to, but no surprise. I think that Warroad won the championship in A. Andover had to come back to win in 2A. They had to find a way, and good teams, championship teams do that, and they did. So good stuff there. Of course, 7A boys hockey, Hermantown versus Duluth-Denfeld. Everybody kind of thinks it's a foregone conclusion on Wednesday. Andover and Grand Rapids on Thursday. These two teams played 2 weeks ago with Grand Rapids winning 2-1. So who knows?
Who knows? Well, as they say, that's why they play the game.
That's why they play the game. And of course, girls basketball, Little Fork Big Falls plays Wednesday against Chisholm. The Broncos play Virginia for the 3rd time this season on Thursday. And so the girls basketball playoffs get underway there, and then of course if either of them win, they play on Saturday down in the A teams would be at UMD and the AA would be at Hermantown, so you can look forward to things that way. And then hey, I can't leave without talking about the section boys swimming and diving.
You cannot.
So a little shameless plug, we did it on yourliveevent.com.
You did indeed.
I hope everybody enjoyed it. I enjoyed it so much. Anytime you get to watch championship swimming, when you get to watch the best of the best in an area, that
Were there any other television crews there?
no, we had the exclusive.
Oh man, you guys are so much.
So you know, it was the first time anybody's ever done the section meet like that, I believe, where they had announcers and commercials and the whole 9 yards. But the Bronco boys.
You had a finish line, I heard?
Huh?
You had finish line?
We had a finish line camera, focus in, zoom in. Yeah, I think Dwayne did a heck of a job getting things lined up. So, yeah, we tried to put the best product we could with a 2-man crew, 1 announcer and 1 video person. So I think we got the job done. But the Bronco boys, you know, they ended up in 5th place out of 7 teams overall. But I'll tell you, Anthony Scholler, Will Serrano, Adrian Manassa, Colton Hollis, 4 kids from the Falls, 4 seniors. Adrian took 3rd in diving. Didn't dive his best. I think he'd be the first one to admit that. Looking forward to, I'm sure, getting down to the state meet. I'm sure the nerves will be higher. But
So how many would they take through?
Take 4 in diving, 3 in all the swimming events. So then Will Serrano and Anthony Scholler went in the 200 IM. They took 1st and 2nd. And you know, the big surprise that Will went last year in the 200 IM. He's an outstanding swimmer. Anthony Scholler kind of talked Coach Joslin into letting him do the event. It was kind of like, all right, it's your senior year, 500 free, the 200 free are kind of your thing, but okay, you go. I'll humor you. He takes 2nd in the section, folks. 2nd in the section. The guy has got guts like you can't believe.
Nah, I know the family. I'm not at all surprised. It's
the hard part about Anthony Scholler was his event is the 500 free, and he missed by about this much of going to state, and that because he took 4th place. And then maybe the biggest gut check, he misses out on going to state in his event. And then about 30 minutes later, he's got to swim in the 400 free relay. He's got the anchor leg. He goes to go off the blocks and he slips. He's in 4th place when he started and he slips. You got to get top 3. That son of a gun. You can go back and watch it. YourLiveEvent.com.
He worked
broadcast archives. and the son of a gun came back and got him third place. Possessed. Absolutely. Will Serrano had a great start. Colton Hollis had a great leg. Adrian Manassa, a great leg. The Broncos came, but you got to, Anthony Scholler to come from fourth place, to come from behind and pull that out, to get that relay to state was a moment that surprised me, because as the announcer, I was watching lanes 1 and 2. This is where the fight was at. Can anybody catch it? It was starting to narrow. And then I get done announcing who's first and second, and I look up, and there's Anthony touching it. I'm like, holy crap. He just pulled that out of his back end. I mean, holy cow. So I can't say enough for the boys. Will Serrano also going in the 100 butterfly. Here's how crazy it was. Last year, Will went in the 100 backstroke. This year, he's going in the 100 butterfly. He didn't even swim the backstroke this year. He concentrated on the butterfly. Like I said, kid's phenomenal. It was fun. And a very enjoyable experience, and I'm going to get to go down and watch the state swimming and diving meet. I'm going to get to watch these guys compete down at the University of Minnesota. So for me, it's
no, that's a big time. Yeah,
that's a nice reward.
You bet.
So I appreciate RJ Broadcasting. I appreciate our sponsors sending me down there. So I get to drive to Virginia on Thursday, do the girls basketball game, then drive to the cities, and then I get to drive back to Duluth and do Pee Wee A hockey. Don't tell me I don't get to have a good time.
No, life doesn't get much better than that. But I really have to congratulate you and Dwayne for, this is groundbreaking doing these kind of things. This is something that we talked about number of years ago, that we can actually televise these events, and now you're doing it in Grand Rapids in the pool. That's a big jump. You guys are done great. I'm very proud of that.
It was like I said, it was a good time, and of course, like I said, it's the madness is here, and like I said, with that stuff, I had to miss some stuff. I got to talk about the girls' basketball team. The Bronco girls' basketball team played Crosby. Have you heard about the 8th grader from Crosby?
Yeah, we talked about her last week. Yeah. She got 1,000 points in 40 games.
43 points against the Broncos on Saturday.
Yeah.
Tori Orline, 26 at half. I don't know. She must be worth the price of admission.
I would guess, and she's in 8th grade too. So I don't know what it takes to get her to commit to International Falls, but maybe $100,000 job for Dad. No, she is 1 in a million, and when you get somebody that has that kind of scoring ability, that completely changes the game. I think she should only have to shoot with the opposite hand. That would make it fair. So she only gets 28 points.
Only 28.
Yeah. No, she's just a remarkable girl. And this is why I talk about, the 50th year of anniversary of Title IX. This girl wouldn't be doing this if it wasn't for Title IX. And that's...
I have to... You brought this up, and you're right. But I got to drop this. I got an email this afternoon just before I left work from Jen Erickson.
Oh, okay.
She was forwarding an email from Randy Shaver from Channel 11 in the cities.
Yeah.
He wants to talk to the women who were on the 1972 state championship team from International Falls.
The track team.
From the track team. And so, track and field team, because I want to make sure I stay in the good graces of Dick Ostrup. And so I passed on a couple of emails that I had because of the Hall of Fame, and I said if he needs more, let me know. So we're going to have some Bronco coverage on 11
Al Shaver.
Title IX. So we'll see how.
That's fantastic.
We'll see if the ladies talk to Randy.
Well, and talk about groundbreaking. And I know some of those women. They were incredible athletes. No two ways about it.
No two ways about it.
No two ways about it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Anything else on that tablet of paper?
No, I think I pretty much got it. No. I'm done. I've got a lot to talk about after next weekend.
I don't know how much you guys heard. Big full place here at the Muni today. Thanks for everybody for putting up with us, but hopefully you were able to hear us a little bit.
Fat Tuesday.
It is Fat Tuesday.
Let the good times roll. And listen,
Go ahead.
I was going to say, listen to the radio show last night. But it's
the Blues Hour, yeah.
Blues Hour. We're playing again.
Thanks, everybody.